Did you know that Canada is going to be banning foreign investment into the Canadian real estate market for the next 2 years? That's right. Canada has just passed an act that will prohibit non-Canadians from buying residential real estate for the next 24 months starting on January 1st, 2023. I'm going to go over a couple of things in this video, and first we're going to cover which types of people are actually deemed non-Canadians and who's going to actually be exempted from the act, meaning that they will actually be allowed to still invest into the Canadian real estate market. And lastly, we're going to conclude with whether or not will this act actually work and promote affordability in the housing market or not. My name is Trey, and I run a real estate business here in Toronto and in the Greater Toronto area. I make these educational videos for anyone who is really looking to just have a deeper understanding of the trends, of the data, and of the news that's currently surrounding the Canadian real estate market so that you can make wise decisions moving forward. If you have any questions at all about anything, please feel free to book an appointment with me. You can find my schedule at the first link in the description, and you can pick a time that is convenient for you. First things first, I want to note that foreign investment in the residential real estate sector of the Canadian market only makes up about 3 to 5% of properties. For context, there were about 667,000 homes that traded hands last year in 2021, which is a crap load, right? But that would put the total on the high end for foreign investment in between the 33 to 34,000 unit mark, which is not really that many. The news article we will be reviewing today is titled Canadian Government Enacts 2-Year Ban on Purchases of Residential Real Estate by Non-Canadians. And this article briefly highlights some of the key points about the legislation, who will deem prohibited by the act, and who will actually be exempted from the act as well. But let's start with who will be directly impacted. So if you're anyone who falls into these couple of categories, you will not be able to buy residential real estate in Canada for the next 24 months. Number one, individuals who are not Canadian citizens or permanent residents of Canada. Number two, corporations that are not incorporated in Canada. And third, corporations controlled within the meaning of the future regulations by foreign corporations or individuals who are not Canadian citizens or permanent residents of Canada. The consultation paper also indicates that the threshold for all of this would be either direct or indirect ownership of 3% or more of the value or equity of voting rights of a corporation. This is all pretty straightforward information, but I do want to talk about that third bullet point where they highlight the 3% mark. So you can't own more than 3% of a residential dwelling. So in simple terms, if a place is worth $1 million and by the looks of it, you can contribute 30 grand, but your return on investment with that small of a contribution wouldn't really make it worthwhile to invest in that situation anyways. So things do get a little more tricky when you are looking at the list of exemptions under the act, and those exemptions are going to include the following class of people. Number one, refugees. Two, individuals who purchase residential property with their spouse or common law partner if the spouse or common law partner is eligible to purchase residential property in Canada. And third, temporary residents in Canada who satisfy conditions prescribed in the future regulations. It also goes on to mention that students and foreign workers who meet specified criteria may also be eligible. Spouses, common law partners, students, and foreign workers all make up a really good chunk of people who can infuse money back into Canada's economy at the end of the day, right? Which leads me to my next point, and will this make homes more affordable for Canadians, especially if foreign investment and ownership is already really low at the 3 to 5% mark of the transactions in 2021 that I went over. A little side note to all of this as well is that when I was doing my research regarding immigration targets in Canada over the next couple of years, we're set to have over 500,000 people coming to Canada by 2025. But many of these people are already living within Canada's borders, which may seem confusing, but let me break it down for you. The students and the foreign workers that are going to be exempted from the act are already living in Canada, right? They've got their education here. They've learned their skills and their trades here. So it only makes sense for them to apply for their permanent residency and call Canada home. I personally don't think that the act will work to help affordability that much in Canada. And my reason is because if somebody wants to buy residential real estate in Canada, then they will find ways to do so. Gifting money to children or relatives has always been commonplace, especially as these prices have appreciated over the years, right? A lot of people need that initial help from family members to get into the real estate market. So I don't think that it's going to work, but that's just my opinion. Curious to hear what you all think will happen and if this new act will make homes more affordable in Canada over the next 2 years. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Peace.